Hello, class. Today we are going to have a special lesson on DC Universe Classics Wave 7, figure number 6, Captain Cold. The Flash villain who got his own figure. And we'll have a look at the packaging first, as we frequently do, and then, of course, we'll open it up and we'll see the figure on the inside. But first, look at the packaging. And there he is with his cold gun in his park, and we can see some of the other characters from the wave. Up there is Barda, and there's Flash. There is Captain Cold. I just like saying it like that, I don't know why. There he is there on the back. And again, our 4+ Connect and Connect piece. I think we've all seen this kind of stuff before. There he is on the side. It comes with the head and lower torso of our Build-A-Figure, or Collect and Connect figure, I'm sorry, Atom Smasher. So it's going to have the head and the crotch. I don't know why they separated it like that. At any rate, on the back, standard fare, we've got a whole bunch of other figures you can get in this wave. There's Ocean Warrior, Aquaman, Kid Flash, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Big Barda, and of course Captain Cold, and the Flash, who comes with a figure stand, which was clever, because a lot of people would buy the Flash anyway. And you put all these pieces together to build your Atom Smasher figure, which eventually we're going to get around to doing. So, a quick biography on Captain Cold. Len Snart. Seriously, Snart? What the hell kind of name is Len Snart? Is that a combination between Snarf from Thundercats and a Shart? Is that like that little red rodent thing just leaving skid marks everywhere or something? Whatever. That's a horrible name. And sorry, if your last name is Snart, I kind of apologize, but you have a sucky last name. Anyways, let's see. Len Snart began his criminal career by concocting a ray gun designed to interfere with the Flash's super speed. Except Flash is smart enough that he could beat you up before you could pull the trigger. Oh, whoops. Instead, the weapon became irradiated accidentally, its emissions instantly freezing moisture in the air. Thus, armed with his new cold gun, Snart adopted the stylized parka of Captain Cold, a supervillain specializing in thefts and freezing solid any would-be pursuers, including the Scarlet Speedster. So basically, as far as I can tell, his whole premise is that he screwed something up. Like, just his whole basis of being a supervillain is probably just being inept. That's awesome. His statistics. So, his first appearance was in Showcase number 8, way back in 1957. His real name is Leonard Snart. He probably got his ass whipped as a kid. Seriously? Hey, Leonard Snart! And then punch, punch, punch. Anyways, his occupation is supervillain. His base of operations is Keystone City or Central City. Does that mean it's the same one, or he just changes? I'm not as familiar with my Flash lore and history, so I'm not too sure. At any rate, his special abilities are his cold gun can freeze moisture in the air to create solid constructs of ice. So, there you have it, and there's a picture of him. There's the other side of the package where we can again look at the head and lower torso for Atom Smasher. Whoa! So there we have Captain Cold in his packaging. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up and we'll have a closer look at the good Captain Cold. Here's Captain Cold in all his glory, and I'll give you a quick 360 view of the figure here. But I do have to wonder, and I'm going to wonder out loud because I can, is why does he have the name Captain Cold? Why is he Captain? Was he a captain in the armed services? Is he a captain of industry? Like maybe he runs a very successful meat packing plant? Is he the captain of his recreational curling team? For those of you who don't know, that's a sport you play on ice. Was the name Lieutenant Temperate taken already? Colonel Kinda Warm taken already? Because I'm just wondering, you know, Captain Cold, first of all, is he just like one of those douchebags like Doom who just puts the title in front of his name because he wants it? And second, why Cold? How about Captain Ice? Captain Sub-Zero, Captain Absolute Zero, Captain something else. Cold doesn't inspire, like, I get the point, you know, but seriously, living in Canada, I have a different definition of cold than, well, I guess most other Canadians have that definition of cold too, but even if it was, Captain, God damn it's cold. Because if you've been in Canada in February, you understand what that means, maybe in some of the northern states as well, right? There's Captain Cold, which, you know, that to me is, you know, kind of chilly in the morning. Yeah, that's cold. But if he was Captain, Jesus Christ, my nuts are freezing cold, I could take it a little more seriously. Anyways, back to the figure, after we had a quick look there, and sorry, I just had to rant about that. What a stupid name. Anyways, so, we'll just take a quick look at the mold itself, because actually, especially for a DCU figure, because I know we've spoken about that before, how basically they're all more or less the same. I have to say, the mold on this one is pretty good. Now, it is kind of the generic mold in the sense that, you know, all the articulation is going to be just about the same, etc., but even if we just start on the head, he has that same grimacing Ring of Fire I just ate at Taco Bell look on him that he always seems to have. Whenever I see Captain Cold, he looks like he's trying to pee glass. And I don't know what's up with that, but he's got that look, and actually the face sculpt is really, really good, and we've even got the fur for his collar on his hood, which is excellent. We even put the string to keep his hood tied nice and tight, which is nice. And we can see I guess I don't know what the hell this is supposed to be, the shawl. It's kind of a wussy word for it, but anyways, the bit that it's not a cape. That's too short to be a cape. Anyways, the short cape even has a little bit of, you can see the wrinkles in there, whoops, which is nice. We can see that his coat, again, he's not just a dude in spandex, he's actually wearing a parka, which I will come back to because that seems silly to me as well. But we can see we've got the parka. Oh, we can lift it up a little bit, and we can see that it goes all the way up to his neck, which is nice. And we've got the frill to match his frill up here on his arms. And again, we can see some of the wrinkles in the gloves that he wears because he's going to wear heavier gloves because, you know, he's trying to stay warm. His belt, that's okay. Now, why does the holster for his gun look like lightning? I guess it's supposed to look like icicle or something like that. But really, to me, it's a bolt of lightning on his hip. Hey, ladies, I got a bolt of lightning in my pants. Sorry, this is on his pants. And we can see the legs as well. We've got the seam along the side here. And again, we can see the wrinkles in the legs because he's wearing probably heavier pants than your regular supervillain. We've got the fringe on the boots, which is nice. And the boots themselves have the big, heavy treads that you would have on big, heavy winter boots, which is pretty cool. So I do like all that. Well, it is kind of, you know, the standard DCUC kind of thing. They actually put some work into it, and that's nice. I do like that. And he's even got the pointy little doodad back on the back of his hood, which is actually kind of silly. He's kind of like a very larger, more pissed off Nordic garden gnome. Like, that's what I kind of see him as. Or it's like Hermes, or not Hermes, sorry, it's Hermie from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, grown up and pissed off. I'm not a dentist anymore, bitch. I carry around a cold gun. It's just this point on the back. I think that's silly. I can't help it. Anyways, now, regarding his costume, and this is more of a critique of the design of the character than the figure itself, is the dude shoots a cold gun. He himself is he just perpetually cold? Like, think about it. You see him running around in Keystone City or whatever, fighting the Flash, and there's no snow on the ground. You can't see the Flash's breath in the air. This thing's gotta be pretty flippin' warm. Why? He projects cold at other things. It's not just that he's Frosty himself. Seriously, what up with that? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I just think the character's kind of silly. So, at any rate, we'll talk about the articulation, and we'll stop my ranting for a second. We can see his head will go all the way around, and it moves up and down a little bit because it is on a ball joint. The shoulders are going to move, and it is the same articulation as other DCUC figures, except his little girly shawl that he's wearing does get in the way, so we can't quite get his arms all the way around. They will rotate at the tricep, bicep area. We can bend there at the elbow, and we can rotate his hand at the wrist. He's got that joint that's in his mid-torso to go back and forth. We can swing his waist, whoa, all the way around. I'll come back to that in a second because that is starting to piss me off. His legs, we got the forward and backwards. Can go out to the side. We can rotate at the thigh. We can bend at the knee, and of course we can bend at the ankle as well. So, in terms of accessories, we've seen it a little bit as I've kind of accidentally tossed it a couple times. We have his cold gun. Okay? And we can put that... Whoa. We can also smoke the bastard. We can put this in his hand. But if you notice, it's incredibly loose. He can't keep it up. And no wonder. He's obviously very cold. So, I don't know. The deal with the gun bothers me. Like, he can't even hold on to it properly. And if I were to display this, the evil wife's mildly annoying cat, I don't want to call him evil, because that would imply some level of competence, would probably knock this down and the gun would disappear into obscurity forever, which is sad. So the gun, again, he's just waving it around. Like, get a grip, buddy. So I think eventually, when this character gets displayed, or this figure gets displayed, it will go in his holster, which is nice, and then I'll spend some time later and see if I can get the button closed on here, because that might take a little bit of effort. Okay. So not too bad. What else would you buy this figure for? Well, it does come with a couple pieces of Atom Smasher, and actually I haven't dug those out yet, so I guess we can do that now. That's plastic against plastic you're hearing there. Oh! Ha! Okay. So if we set Rear Admiral Cold back there, we can look at pieces of Atom Smasher, and there we have the lower torso, or the groin area of Atom Smasher, and I guess that's really nothing to look at right now. There'll be more to look at, well... Okay, that was just probably wrong, wasn't it? We will add to this later with, you know, legs and a upper torso. And then we've got his head. Now, actually, well, I guess we'll talk about more later. The thing I like about the head is that, well, Atom Smasher is supposed to be wearing a mask, because obviously this isn't skin-toned, unless his head is blue. Like, he's part of the Blue Man group. Maybe he spends a lot of time in Vegas. I like the fact that you can still see most of the details of his face in the mold. Like, it almost looks like he's just wearing blue war paint, which is actually kind of cool. So I do like that. I'm looking forward to putting this one together. Okay, so back to Captain Cold. If I had to grade this figure, because I think the sculpt is nice, the coloring actually, I guess I'll come back to. Obviously he's all blue, because this brings me back to a couple of small gripes. If we look, I don't know how well we can get the camera to focus on it, at least on this one, we can see that the blue, there's lots of blue paint on his gray gloves. So on this one, not so much on the other one, just I guess the paint application didn't go too well in some places, which is mildly annoying, but I guess we won't see it most of the time because it's underneath. But actually the rest of the paint job is pretty good. It's just that one spot, and I guess that is going to happen. But anyways, going back to our kind of decision on this figure, you know what? The mold is excellent. It's unique, at least as far as the DCUC figures go. It's not like they just recycled the whole thing. They really had to do some work on it. The color scheme is awesome for an angry, blue, icy garden gnome. And the articulation is what we would expect. So if I had to grade this figure, I would give him a grade of B+. He is very, very good. My main gripe, and the reason he doesn't move into the A category, is this damn thing. If this just fit in his hand better, and it might be this particular figure, I don't know if it's all of them. I mean, I don't even know what I could do about it. Even some figures, they come with the little clear rubber band over the weapon that holds onto it, and look at that. I don't know if how well you can see it. His cold gun is made in China. Mass-produced because he's a loser who keeps getting busted. Anyways, unless he knows how to replicate them, which you would think he would. Okay, so again, not quite in the A range because of the accessory. That just really pisses me off, because when you have a character whose main thing is that he has a special kind of gun, you want him to be able to hold that special kind of gun, and I really am paranoid that this will be lost, either to the vacuum cleaner or the cat or God knows what else. So, B+ for Captain Cold. I think he's a worthy addition to your DCUC collection, or if you collect Flash villains, which I feel sorry for you because most of them suck. I'm sorry. But anyways, I think that is our lesson. Thank you very much. Class is dismissed.